say you'll catch me.
Hello Sagittarius, how you doing? Happy May to you. Hope you're doing great. Sorry these are a few days late. I've had a lot going on. I've been trying to keep up with my life and my business and my health and my clients, and it's been a lot, and I kind of have to be in an appropriate state to do these readings. A lot of times the messages will take me kind of deep, so I like to bring my best. I've been channeling things here. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're used to seeing this channel, I am doing this Tarot by Tribe series a little bit differently to help me with my current time situation too. It just seems like it's more appropriate at this time to do 12 actual separate videos. I have also, to consolidate on time, gone ahead and shuffled. I've actually laid the cards out here on the spirit board, and I'll be doing some of the reading with that view there so you can see some of what's going on. I just do it that way to give me a little bit of time. And in the time here, while I was clearing the space and preparing, I also received some spirit messages that I jotted down that I'd like to discuss first. And I will just say that I was very happy to see there were some strong images that were coming through, and the way I was hearing about it was that it wasn't things that were necessarily happening in anybody's now space, how it was being depicted to me, but what I was seeing was more what people are remembering now from before, and a lot of it's childhood stuff that they're showing me. There was something coming up similar in the Scorpio reading, Scorpio Sag side by side on the wheel, but you also might be dealing with Scorpios or have heavy Scorpio influence in your natal constitution, in which case you might want to check that out too. Side note, but check your sun, your moon, and your rising anyway, because you might get messages in any of those, or all of them perhaps. But what I was seeing was they were showing me images of people that it's like I was looking at a child literally like being abused. And at first it kind of, took me like that for a minute, because that's always challenging. That's one of the things that I deal with here doing this type of work, interpreting for others. It can be very confrontational. And I'll just say, I do my best to say things in a very empowering way with people. I am only, a human being, though, and I can just sympathize and empathize with some of the other intuitives that I see here on YouTube that kind of get slammed for the way they say things. And I'll just say sometimes it's confrontational how we see it, and it can almost bring up our defenses that we might have. And some of us, maybe are more eloquent with the way we say things than others at different times, depending on how it might trigger us as well. So for me, the child abuse thing is like, it's a big trigger, I would just say, because I don't know, I feel like I grew up with a lot of abuse, just verbal, physical, emotional, and just, being made to feel ashamed of the way things were happening toward me. And I'm even speaking about like in a sexual kind of way towards children. And when I see things like that come up in my readings, I'll just say, it kind of hits me in a place that's been wounded that way. And so I was seeing some of that coming up, but the way they were showing it to me was like kind of uplifting, because they were showing me somebody just like literally lifting themselves up. And I was hearing about the dress blues. I heard dress blues for somebody's guide was saying that, and they were really showing me situations with people that are coming very soon, is what I'm hearing. It's like a validation point that's coming, where it's really about how much your self-respect has grown, and it being because of what came out of the dark. And they're showing me people that were like bullied into fear, bullied into shame, people that were just made to feel like they were trapped in some kind of way, or literally having been trapped or abused and put upon. And it just being like this kind of amazing time where it's like all of the truths have been faced, and it's like even all of the anger and things that were imprisoning people before, they've already kind of worked through the worst of it, if you will, and they're just showing me like some of these like victory, and they were saying something about wearing the dress blues. And so I just want to say high freaking 5, high freaking 10 to all of you survivors, right? Thrivers that have learned to champion yourself in the face of all of that, despite all of that, in spite of all of that, because we're hearing this is a good time for you to be working with that kind of energy and just making sure that if there are some things that haven't been uncovered yet, and this is like touching on something that's like just under the surface for you, they're saying this is a good time to kind of push through, and that there are things that you know to do that you can do to self-support right now that might just help you ease into that light space in a way that feels very empowering. So I hope that you'll do it. And, if you're looking for a private reading too, I know we're about to get into these, there might be more messages for you. Feel free to hit me up. This is what I do. tarotbytribe.com/book mail. My links are below. I'd love to take a Zoom for you. So what I'm going to do now is just flip the camera down just a bit so you can take a look on the spirit board, and we're going to flip the cards. Excuse me, Scorpio. Excuse me, Sagittarius. See, I think that's the second time I've either called you Scorpio or almost called you Scorpio. So there might be something going on with Scorpio. And honestly, that happened just a couple weeks ago too. So, maybe that's you. Just being advised to take a peek at that other video. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to start with the archetype card for you. First part of May here. Sagittarius, using the Carolyn Mace archetype cards, we got the Rebel card showing up. I dig this card. This is all about, in some cases, what it is that sets you apart. And I'm hearing a lot of it has to do with your own identity of self. And, that was a really strong message about self-respect that was coming up in the channeled section. And I'm hearing that a lot with the Rebel too, and I think that's why this individual that's sitting up there in the tree perhaps might be clothed in a yellow garment there on the chest. That's covering the third chakra there, the solar plexus, your gut, your God self, your wisdom, your lie detector, if you will. And this is also your challenge style energy for first part of the month. They're saying clothe yourself in a healthy sense of ego. And I'm hearing get outside if you can here, Sagittarius. I'm going to read to you what the card says. We've got light and shadow attributes that might give you situational awareness clues as to why you or others might be exerting yourself a certain way, or what situations might be trying to show you. Light attributes state: challenges authority to effect social change, rejects spiritual systems that do not serve inner needs. Shadow attribute state: rejects legitimate authority out of anger, rebels out of peer pressure or faction. And I'm hearing that for some people, that's the biggest risk right now, is that shadow stuff, because they're saying for some people, they might just be feeling really empowered, and like, especially now that Mercury just stationed direct yesterday on the 3rd, communications might be a little bit more free to happen, especially if things have been suppressed or kind of like bogged down or locked up in some kind of way recently. And they're saying the tendency might be to want to like push that just because, maybe somebody's feeling like they need to move some energy, or might be feeling pent up or frustrated. So might just want to pay attention to that if situations do that for you. And yeah, we're hearing, look, 7 of Wands showed up in your physical material realm using the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck as a clue. This is somebody that's standing up passionately for something, and they're ready to take some fools out, is what it looks like. And, they might be feeling like some things have come against them in the past where they've got like a little bit of a, slightly defensive posture is what I'm hearing. So they're just saying, know that I'm here and just clothe yourself in like a healthy sense of ego and balanced heart space. And that, even if it feels like some things might be challenging, because this could be anything. This could be work. You could have a lot of irons on the fire. This could be situations, lots of people needing things from you and maybe trying to decide which one's worth taking a swing at, and I'm hearing a lot of it's about time management. A lot of times when sevens show up for me, there's at least an implication on time. Multiple sevens for me, a lot of times indicative of divine timing. So far we only have one here, but there's definitely something about time management and what's worth putting energy into, especially if nothing's really, posing a real challenge is what I'm hearing, because those could be false opponents too, and this could even be in someone's mind, because although they're seeing those threats and they're up there, it would probably be silly to try to take them all out, Another thing, I actually just saw something funny. I actually just saw somebody with their kids having fun at, one of these, like a Chuck E. Cheese kind of place, and, I'm just going to lift it up for a minute. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, they had this game at Chuck E. Cheese and like Pistol Pete's Pizza, where it was like, it's called Whack-A-Mole, and it's like a table, and these little moles like pop up, and you gotta boink them on the head with this like hammer. And I was just seeing somebody like taking their kid out, having fun doing that. So I don't know, maybe somebody will do that this month, and if so, have fun. It looks like you had a good time. Let me know if you did it, because it's a fun game, and that's a good way to burn some calories if you're a little kid too. And wow, this is kind of interesting. So speaking of sevens and divine timing, and so far we only had one, well, boom, there's another one. And incidentally, that is the same card expressed in a different deck. This is your Seven of Wands card expressed in the John Holland's version, the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck of this archetype of energy. So you've got a 7-7 here. You're saying for some of y'all, there might be something going on with the divine timing factors of your life. There's actually a very strong Uranian pull to this too. I'm hearing you might be dealing with or have Aquarius in the chart too. I just heard that. And, that one just kind of caught me for a minute when I said it. That doesn't usually happen, but I was born in 1977, and I'm an Aquarius, and when I said it, then I was like, oh wait, that sounds like me. Anyway, so they're just saying there might be situations too where you're dealing with other people that have a lot of wands energy in their natal constitution. Whether or not they're fiery people like you, Sag, they might have Sagittarius in their chart, Leo, Aries, somewhere strong that, kind of persuades them to act that way. But you got two of them showing up here, and so they're really saying something about how you are picking the places to really demonstrate this rebellious nature that you have, because I'm hearing in some cases it's a precision sport. They're saying be real careful where you're pointing this stuff. I just keep seeing this person with this like sharp thing in their hand, and they're like stabbing at things. And I'm hearing about the time it takes to develop skills and being certain that they're just saying how you demonstrate your flair. Just be wise about how you demonstrate your flair is what I'm hearing. And so, yeah. They're also saying that a lot of this might have to do with, I'm hearing something about just a certain kind of they're talking to me about some of these love affair. this is your personal / romance sector. This does not have to be romantic at all. Sometimes it's safe for you to love really means, it's safe for you to put yourself and your value into whatever it is that showed up at the right time, that you're, choosing your battles wisely with, taking the high moral ground with, and being careful about how you wield sharp, fiery objects in some cases. But in other cases, they're really talking to me about some romantic situations that are happening after a long time, because this is saying it's safe for you to love. So they're talking about, for some people, just knowing that it's like whatever time they've put into cultivating their unique expression of self that they feel good about, that it's like now they're in the right heart space to really choose someone or something, or maybe that person showed up, that is actually worth the effort. Because sometimes that's what this is. These 7 of Wands and, stand your ground are like the things that we really pick. It's like, ooh, that's the best one. I'm going to stand up for that. I'm going to put my heart and soul into it. And, this is looking very victorious here, as you can see. And so they're saying in some cases, this is just really good indication. So, if there have been some challenges in relationships, they're saying there might have been some, odds there due to stubbornness and people's rebellious nature. But in some cases, they're saying people have moved on from that. It's just a different time, is what I'm hearing. And for others, if you're looking to call something in, they're saying, this might be just a really good time to get back out there. And I'm just hearing that whatever it is that you do to kind of enhance yourself and give yourself that unique flair, I keep hearing about people's flair. They're just saying it might be a good time to kind of peacock yourself a little bit, maybe not all the time, but just like know when to just use that little accent, that little thing that only you do, your signature moves. They're saying, you know when to bust them out right now. I'm getting a real good hit on that for you, Sag, especially if you're trying to date. But this one says here, open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. And I'm hearing it's on. So, some of y'all just need to know it's like, it's time. They're saying there's a lot of sexy factor here is like what I'm hearing from somebody's guide. And they're saying some of y'all just need to know it, because it's like you haven't really been wearing it right, is what I'm hearing. And they're saying in some cases, it's just because, I'm just going to go ahead and hold this up now because we're just going to end on a prayer in a minute. But I'm just hearing in some cases it's just because of like how you were squashed into a corner when you were younger or smaller or like more frail, and you were being put upon, and that it's really left a heavy impact on your heart space, your self-love, how you normally, I'll say normally in the past, kind of put yourself out there because it was coming from like a shame way. And they're saying like now it's kind of like, like you worked really hard to figure out this identity. And that it's like, it's your time to shine is like what it is. And so it's like, the sun's coming up, you're choosing the right stuff. And they're saying, look, it's really safe for you to get out there. Start with your self-love. It's going to be a great time. And I'm going to go ahead and flip to your prayer card, and we're going to end it on this, because they're saying some of y'all are just on the cusp of new options that are ready for you to explore. And I think that actually sums it up pretty good. So go with your self-respect on this one, Saggy. I'm feeling great about it for you. You sealed up on this prayer and practical advice from Archangel Michael to explode yo options. Dear God and Archangel Michael, thank you for your wisdom and love, helping me to see, understand, and assess all of my alternative options. Please guide me in the best direction for my health, happiness, and life's purpose. Amen. All right, Sagittarius, that's what I got for you, and I hope you liked it. If so, share it with a friend, thumbs up, subscribe, hit a brother up if I can do a personal reading for you. artoflove.me. You can click my links below or all around. There's stuff to click. Have a great month. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks when we're back for another one.